Lisa Harper stood at the edge of the training deck with her hands shaking. Around her, the Academy's observation windows filled with faces. Alien faces. Zordian faces with 4 eyes that watched her like she was a broken machine about to be thrown away. The Malkari instructors leaned forward, their exoskeletons clicking against the metal railings. They were waiting to see her fail. They always waited for that moment. The combat simulation began. A warning light flashed red. The ground under Lisa's feet shifted and changed. Holographic opponents appeared in front of her. 5 of them, all designed to test her speed, strength, and fighting skills. All designed to find out exactly how weak she was. The first opponent was a Zordian recruit named Kren. He was twice Lisa's size, with muscles that looked like steel cables under gray skin. He had 4 arms. Lisa had 2. This was not a fair fight. It had never been a fair fight since the moment Lisa arrived at the Academy 3 weeks ago. Kren moved forward. His 4 arms came at Lisa from different angles. She tried to block. Her arms were fast, but not fast enough. One of Kren's fists hit her shoulder and knocked her backward. Her foot slipped on the training deck floor. She fell hard. Pain shot through her back. The watching aliens made sounds. Some laughed. Others just waited for more. Lisa pushed herself up. Her shoulder hurt. Her back hurt. But she kept moving. She came at Kren again. This time, she tried to be smarter. She waited for his attack. When he swung, she ducked under one arm and tried to grab his leg. Maybe if she could knock him down, the fall would hurt him more than it hurt her. It did not work. Kren kicked her away like she was nothing. Lisa flew backward. This time, she fell harder. The wind left her lungs. She lay on the training deck, unable to breathe, unable to move. The simulation was still running. 2 more opponents came toward her. Lisa tried to get up. Her body would not move fast enough. A Malkari fighter with a thick brown exoskeleton kicked her in the ribs. The armor on its feet was hard. It hurt like being hit with a hammer. Lisa's vision went gray at the edges. She could not breathe. She could not think. She just wanted it to stop. Then it did. The simulation ended. The holographic opponents disappeared. Lisa lay on the training deck, covered in sweat and pain. Around her, the observation windows were full of movement. The aliens were talking. Some were laughing. Some were just shaking their heads like they had seen something pathetic. Commander Vex walked down from the observation area. He was tall, even for an alien. His body was made of crystal that caught the light and threw it back in sharp angles. His face had no expression, but his voice was cruel when he spoke. "Human recruit Harper," Commander Vex said. His voice echoed across the training deck. "Your performance today shows why humans should never have been accepted to this academy. Your species is weak. You are slow. You have no natural advantages. You cannot compete with recruits from real warrior races. I do not understand why the Council wasted academy resources on a biological failure." Lisa pushed herself up on her elbows. Her body shook. She was still trying to breathe. Blood dripped from her nose. She could taste it in her mouth. "Stand up," Vex commanded. "If you can stand, then stand." Lisa pushed harder. Her legs felt like water, but she got them under her. She stood. She was shaking, but she was standing. "Do you want to know what I think, human?" Vex asked. He did not wait for her to answer. "I think you should leave this academy. Go back to your Earth. Find work that matches your level. Maybe you can clean weapons for real soldiers. That is all you are fit for." Lisa said nothing. What could she say? Everything he said was true. She was weak. She was slow. Every alien at this academy was better than her. Every single one of them. She had known this before she arrived. Everyone had told her this. Her own government had warned her that she might not be able to handle the training. But she had come anyway. Commander Vex walked away. The observation area emptied. The other recruits filed out, not looking at her. Officer Marcus Cole stayed behind. He was human, like her. He was stationed at the academy as a military liaison from Earth. He walked toward her slowly. "You okay?" Marcus asked. Lisa nodded, even though she was not okay. Her whole body hurt. Her pride hurt more than her body. "You did not have to come back here," Marcus said. "You could have quit. Nobody would blame you." Lisa looked at Marcus. "I did not come all the way across space to quit on the first day." Marcus looked sad, but he also looked something else. He looked like maybe he understood something that the other aliens did not. "The simulation is still available," Marcus said. "You can try again if you want." They reset the training deck in an hour. Lisa felt something inside her. It was not hope. It was something harder than hope. It was just a stubborn refusal to break. She had grown up on Earth. Earth was a hard world. Everything on Earth wanted to kill you or hurt you or take what was yours. Lisa's mother had worked 2 jobs. Her father had left when she was small. She had learned that the only way to survive was to keep moving, keep fighting, keep getting back up. "I will try again," Lisa said. She walked to the medical bay and let the alien doctors look at her. They put something cool on her ribs. They closed the cut on her lip. They told her she was lucky. She had no broken bones. The pain would go away in 2 days. 2 days. She had to go back to combat training in 2 days. Lisa walked to the training deck when everyone else was sleeping. The academy was quiet at night. The stars showed through the observation windows. Earth was somewhere in that dark mess, so far away that it was just one star among billions. She stood on the training deck alone. She looked at her hands. They were small. They were not strong, but they were hers. They were all she had. Lisa activated the training simulation again. The Zorthian appeared. The Melkari appeared. The other opponents appeared. They came at her just like before. Lisa fell down. Again. But she got back up. Again. She was knocked down 5 more times before the simulation ended. When it ended, she asked to run it again. She ran it 14 times that night. 14 times she fell. 14 times she got back up. Nobody told her to stop. Nobody told her to keep going. But Lisa kept going anyway. Because if she did not keep going, then everything Vex said was true. And Lisa Harper had not come all the way across space to prove that humans were weak. She had come to prove they were not. 6 weeks had passed since Lisa's first day at the academy. 6 weeks of getting knocked down. 6 weeks of getting back up. The bruises on her body had turned yellow and green. New bruises had formed underneath them. Her hands were covered in cuts and calluses. Her knuckles were scarred from hitting things harder than her own bones. But something was different. Now, Lisa stood in the advanced combat training hall, watching Kren move through a combat routine. She had stopped thinking about his size. She had stopped thinking about his 4 arms. Instead, she watched the way he moved. She watched his balance. She watched how he planted his feet before he threw his punches. She watched the moment his weight shifted from one leg to the other, and she saw something. When Kren threw his power punches, he always moved his weight to his back leg first. That made him slower by about half a second. It also made him unbalanced. In that half second, when he was committed to the punch but had not yet followed through, he was vulnerable. Lisa had tried to fight Kren 17 times since that first day. She had lost every single match. But she had gotten closer each time. The last match had lasted 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds. That was progress. The next match would be different. Now she knew something about him that he did not know she knew. Kren noticed her watching. He walked toward her. "Why do you always watch me?" Kren asked. His voice was rough, but not cruel. Kren was not like Commander Vex. He was just stronger. "I watch everyone," Lisa said. "That is how I learn." Kren made a sound. It might have been a laugh. "You learn from losing?" "Yes," Lisa said. "I learn from every person who beats me. I learn what works and what does not work. I learn where my weaknesses are." Kren moved his forearms in a strange gesture. It meant something in Zordian. Lisa had learned the basic Zordian gestures. This one meant respect or agreement. "Humans are strange," Kren said. "My people are born with strength. The strong survive. The weak die. We do not change. We do not learn differently. We just push harder." "Humans are not born strong," Lisa said. "We have to learn. We have to see what works and do it again. We have to see what does not work and do something else." Kren walked away. But he did not walk away with anger. He just walked away thinking. The next day, Lisa was assigned to fight in the zero-gravity combat chamber. This was a section of the academy where artificial gravity was turned off. Recruits floated in empty space and had to fight while weightless. Lisa was terrified. Most aliens had evolved in space, or had trained in zero gravity for years. She had never left Earth until 3 weeks before she came to the academy. She had never experienced weightlessness. She did not know how to move in zero gravity. She did not know how to fight when there was no ground under her feet. The chamber was enormous. It was a cube that was 100 meters on each side. The walls were covered with handholds. A Zordian recruiter named Voss was assigned to fight her. Voss was smaller than Kren, but he was faster. He had trained in zero gravity since he was young. Lisa was pushed into the chamber. The gravity shut off. Her stomach dropped. She felt like she was falling in every direction at once. She could not find which way was up. Voss moved through the air like he was born there. He pushed off a wall and came at Lisa with terrible speed. His fists came at her face. Lisa tried to block. But blocking in zero gravity was not the same as blocking on a solid surface. She moved too far. The momentum of her own movement sent her spinning. Voss hit her 3 times before she could even see where he was. Everything spun. Lisa felt sick. She grabbed a handhold on the wall to stop herself from spinning. She just held on and tried not to throw up. Voss laughed. Humans were never meant to leave the ground. He pushed off the wall again. This time, Lisa was ready. But being ready in zero gravity was different than being ready on solid ground. She reached for him. He grabbed her arm and used her own movement against her. He spun her around and threw her across the chamber. Lisa hit the opposite wall hard. The wind came out of her. She hung there, gasping, unable to move. The simulation ended. Voss had won. Lisa had lost. She had lost in zero gravity, just like she lost on the training deck. But as they pushed her back out of the chamber and the gravity came back on, Lisa realized something. She had not understood the rules of zero gravity. She had never fought in zero gravity. She had never trained for it. Of course, she was losing. That night, Lisa requested access to the zero gravity chamber at night. The Academy Masters did not care what recruits did in the empty hours. She could train if she wanted to. Lisa spent 6 hours in zero gravity that night. She did not fight. She just floated. She learned how to move without gravity. She learned how the smallest push could send her flying. She learned how to use walls to redirect her motion. She learned that in zero gravity, the rules were different. She learned that understanding the rules was more important than strength. For 3 nights, Lisa trained alone in the zero-gravity chamber. On the 4th day, she was sent to fight Voss again. This time, she did not try to block his attacks the way she blocked on solid ground. Instead, she moved with his attacks. When he threw a punch, she grabbed his arm and used his own momentum to spin herself away. When he pushed off a wall, she grabbed the same wall and pushed in a different direction. She did not fight against zero gravity. She fought with it. Voss was confused. He could not understand how she was suddenly faster. He could not understand how she was moving in ways that seemed impossible for someone who had just entered zero gravity a week ago. Lisa lasted 5 minutes, then 6, then 7. In the end, Voss threw her against a wall and won. But he won barely. He was tired. He was confused. When they left the chamber, Voss looked at Lisa with new eyes. "What did you do?" Voss asked. "I learned," Lisa said. A scientist named Dr. Helion had been watching from the observation window. He was a small alien with a long body covered in fur. He was the Academy's expert on species biology and military tactics. He had not paid attention to Lisa before, but now he was paying attention. Dr. Helion found Lisa in the Academy cafeteria the next day. "Recruit Harper," Dr. Helion said. "May I sit with you?" Lisa nodded. She did not know what she had done wrong. Now Dr. Helion sat down. He looked at her with eyes that were large and dark. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but not unkind. "I have been watching you fight," Dr. Helion said. "Every day for 6 weeks. Do you know what I have noticed?" Lisa shook her head. "You lose," Dr. Helion said. "Almost every time, you lose. But you lose differently each time. You learn from your losses. That is not common." Lisa did not know what to say. "My species learns through genetics," Dr. Helion continued. "We are born with knowledge. We are born with skills. We do not change much during our lives. The Zordians learn through dominance. The strong ones survive. The weak ones die. But humans—" Dr. Helion paused. "Humans learn through failure. You study your failures. You change your approach. You try again. Is that good?" Lisa asked. "It is very good," Dr. Helion said. "It is something rare. Most species have one strength, one gift from nature. But humans, your gift is learning. Your gift is change. Your gift is adaptation." Lisa did not feel like she had a gift. She felt like she was just stubborn. Dr. Helion stood up to leave. He paused. "Keep fighting," he said. "Keep learning. Someday, the Academy will understand what I am beginning to understand. Humans are not weak. You are just different." The midterm evaluation came on a cold morning. The Academy's main combat pavilion was filled with observers. Council members from across the galaxy were here. Military leaders, scientists, historians. They came to see which recruits would advance, and which recruits would be sent home as failures. Lisa had not slept the night before. She had not eaten breakfast. Her hand shook as she put on her Academy uniform. The uniform was designed for aliens with different body shapes. It hung wrong on her human frame. Everything at the Academy hung wrong on her. Officer Marcus found her in the corridor outside the pavilion. "You look like you might be sick," Marcus said. "I am nervous," Lisa said. "What if I fail? What if I waste all these weeks?" Marcus put his hand on her shoulder. "You have already proven something just by surviving this long. But I think you are going to surprise people today." Lisa did not feel like she would surprise anyone. She felt like she would probably get knocked unconscious in front of the entire Galactic Council. The battles were arranged by a random draw. Lisa pulled her name from the selection bowl and found her opponents. 3 fighters. The scenario was a collapsing building simulation. Gravity would shift. Walls would fall. The recruits had to survive longer than their opponents. Kren was one of her opponents. So was Voss, and a Melkari named Rock who had never lost a combat trial. They entered the pavilion. The entire assembly of observers went silent. They wanted to watch a human get defeated. They wanted to confirm what they already believed. Humans were weak. Lisa would prove it. The simulation started. The building collapsed all around them. Pieces of the floor fell into darkness below. Walls tilted at crazy angles. Lisa's body swayed as gravity shifted. For a moment, she felt like she was going to be thrown into the void. But then something happened in her mind. Something clicked into place. She had watched this building collapse 17 times in training. She had run the simulation 17 times, trying different strategies. Each time she had learned something. Each time she had studied how the pieces fell. She had counted the rhythm. She had mapped the pattern. The building did not fall randomly. It fell according to physics. The same physics every time. Lisa closed her eyes for 1 second. She did not think about the other fighters. She did not think about surviving. She thought about the building. She thought about where the next piece would fall. She thought about which path was safe. She opened her eyes and moved. Kren was trying to fight through the falling debris like he always fought everything. He used strength. He pushed pieces out of the way. He jumped over gaps. He was being battered by the falling structure, but he was not thinking about the pattern. He was just thinking about surviving through power. Voss was using speed. He was running through the shifting structure, faster than the pieces could hit him. But speed only worked if you were running to a safe place. If you were running the wrong direction, speed would not save you. Rock was the only other fighter thinking. He was watching the pattern. He was trying to move through the building in the safest path. But Lisa had studied this pattern 40 times. She knew it better than the algorithm that generated it. She moved through the collapsing building like she knew something secret. She stepped through a doorway seconds before it fell. She crossed a platform just before it tilted. She moved in directions that looked wrong but were actually the safest paths. The other fighters got hit. Kren got knocked down twice. He got back up both times, angry and aggressive. Voss was running too fast and could not stop when the gravity shifted. He fell into a chasm and had to be pulled out. The simulation was over for him. Rock was moving carefully, trying to think like Lisa was thinking. But he did not know the pattern. He had not spent 40 nights running this simulation. He made a wrong turn. A piece of falling debris hit him. He could not move fast enough to escape. The simulation ended for him. Lisa and Kren were the last ones standing. The building collapsed more violently. Pieces fell from above and below. The gravity shifted 3 times. Lisa used her knowledge of the pattern to avoid every piece. Kren used his strength to survive the pieces that hit him. They were close to each other. Kren could see her moving with perfect timing. His anger grew. He wanted to beat her. He wanted to prove his strength was better than her strange knowledge. Kren charged at her. He tried to use his power to push her into a falling piece of debris. Lisa saw him coming. She understood his movement. She had learned his patterns, just like she had learned the building's pattern. When Kren moved his weight to throw a powerful punch, Lisa was already moving. She went under his attack. She moved to a place where falling debris would hit him. Not hurt him, just hit him hard enough to knock him off balance. The debris did exactly what Lisa had predicted. It struck Kren. He stumbled. That was all Lisa needed. She moved to the safe zone. Kren had no safe zone left. Another piece of debris fell in his direction. He could not avoid it. The simulation ended. Lisa was the last one standing. The observation pavilion went silent. Then it erupted. Not in cheers. In loud voices of confusion and disagreement. A human recruit had beaten 3 alien fighters. A human recruit had solved a simulation that most aliens tried to solve through strength or speed. She had solved it through understanding. Commander Vex stood up. His crystal body caught the light. His face showed no emotion, but Lisa could see anger in the way he held his arms. Senator Krell did not stand up. He just leaned forward. His alien eyes studied Lisa like she was a puzzle he wanted to solve. Dr. Helion was writing notes very fast. Lisa could see him from across the pavilion. He was smiling. Lisa walked out of the pavilion. Her legs shook now that it was over. Her victory would not change anything. Vex hated her now more than before. The other aliens would respect her less, not more. She had not fought like a warrior. She had not shown strength or speed. She had just thought about the problem differently. But as she walked through the academy corridors, she noticed something. The other recruits looked at her differently. Not all of them. Some still looked at her with contempt, but others looked at her with curiosity. A few Melkari recruits nodded to her. A Zordian officer asked her how she had learned to move through the collapsing building. That night, an academy messenger came to her room. Senator Krell requests your presence, the messenger said. Lisa's heart dropped. The senator was here to see her fail. He was here to understand why humans should not be allowed at the academy. She was brought to a private chamber. Senator Krell was waiting. He was tall for an alien, and his skin was dark purple. He had studied the history of the galaxy. Lisa knew his reputation. He was fair. He was not cruel like Vex, but he was also not someone who accepted weakness. Recruit Harper, Senator Krell said. That was an unusual performance today. I studied the simulation, Lisa said. She saw no point in lying. You studied the building, and you found the pattern in its collapse, Senator Krell said. You did not try to be stronger than your opponents. You tried to be smarter. Yes, Lisa said. Senator Krell sat back. He looked at her for a long moment. The Galactic Council has believed that human military potential was limited, Senator Krell said. You may have just changed our understanding of that. But change takes time. Commander Vex is not happy. Many here still believe you are an anomaly. One human who thinks differently does not mean anything about your entire species. Lisa felt her hope collapse. So this meeting was not a victory. It was a warning. But Senator Krell continued. I am putting you on an observation list, he said. I want to see if you continue to surprise us. If you do, then the Council will need to make new decisions about human military service. He stood up. Keep fighting, human. Keep learning. Prove to us that your species is worth something to the galaxy. 3 months later, the final combat trials were announced. The Academy selected the final matches. Lisa pulled her name from the selection. She was matched against Gorak. The entire Academy fell silent when they saw the pairing. Then they started laughing. Gorak was not just a recruit. Gorak was a champion. He had won his last 15 fights. He had never been defeated by any recruit in the Academy's history. Gorak's species came from a world where evolution had created only warriors. Nothing else survived on his planet. The weak were killed before they could even reproduce. Gorak was the product of 10,000 years of violence and natural selection. He was 3 times Lisa's mass. His body was covered in natural armor plating that could stop bullets. His bones were denser than metal. His muscles generated power that could lift vehicles. He was everything a warrior should be. Lisa was human. She weighed 140 pounds. She had soft skin that bruised easily. She got tired. She needed to sleep and eat and rest. Compared to Gorak, she was nothing. Commander Vex watched Lisa when he announced the pairing. There was cruel satisfaction in his face. He had arranged this. Lisa had beaten 3 recruits in the midterm trials. Now he would put her against an opponent she could never possibly defeat. He would use her destruction to prove what he had always said. Humans were weak. The night before the final match, Lisa could not sleep. She lay in her room and thought about Gorak. She had watched him fight 17 times. She had studied his movement. She had learned his patterns just like she had learned everything else. Gorak was powerful. But power was predictable. Gorak threw his attacks from the same angles. He moved in the same ways. He had never had to learn to fight differently because his strength had always been enough. But Lisa had fought against opponents that were stronger, faster, and more skilled than her. She had learned how to survive against superior odds. She had learned how to study her opponent and find the weakness in their approach. Gorak had never had to learn that. Gorak had never needed to learn that. The day of the match arrived. The entire academy was there. Military commanders from 7 different species came to watch. News networks from across the galaxy broadcast the match. Everyone wanted to see a human get destroyed by the undefeated champion. Lisa entered the arena. It was much larger than the training deck. The walls were reinforced to contain extreme power. The floor was made of material that could withstand heavy impacts. This arena was built for fighters like Gorak. It was built for power. Gorak entered from the opposite side. He was enormous. His armor plating shone like dark metal under the arena lights. He made sounds in his own language. Sounds of confidence. Sounds of predators about to crush prey. The announcer declared the rules. This was not a hologram simulation. This was real combat. They would fight until one of them could not continue. Weapons were not allowed. Only hand-to-hand combat. The match began. Gorak charged at Lisa like a charging animal. His power was not subtle. He was not trying to be clever. He was just coming at her with overwhelming force. His massive fist came toward her head. It would have crushed her skull if it landed. Lisa moved. She was not trying to stop his punch. She was trying to avoid it. Gorak's fist went past her face and hit the ground where she had been standing. The impact created a small crater in the reinforced floor. Gorak was not happy. He pulled his fist out of the ground. He turned around. He charged again. This time, he threw 4 punches at different angles, all designed to hit her from different directions. All so powerful that even if one got through, it would end the fight. Lisa moved again. She was moving like water, moving around his attacks, never meeting force with force, never trying to block or catch his punches, just moving out of their way. Gorak was becoming angry. He was not used to missing. He was not used to his opponent moving away. He was used to power working. He was used to force solving everything. He threw a massive uppercut. Lisa saw it coming. She saw the moment his weight shifted. She saw the moment he committed his power to the attack. She moved to the side. The uppercut missed by inches. And then Lisa did something that shocked everyone in the arena. She moved toward him, toward his charging attack instead of away from it. She stepped inside his guard. She positioned herself where his extended arms could not reach her. She had studied his body for weeks. She had learned every weak point in his armor. She knew where his exoskeleton was thinnest. She knew where his joints were vulnerable. She knew where the nerve clusters were closest to the surface. Lisa drove her fingers into a specific point on his neck where armor did not cover flesh. She pressed hard. She did not use strength. She used precision. She pressed the exact point where the alien nerve system became vulnerable. Gorak's entire body went stiff. Lisa twisted her body. She moved her feet. She applied pressure to another point. A pressure point on his arm that disrupted his nervous system. Gorak collapsed. He fell to the ground. His massive body just fell. He tried to get back up. He tried to use his strength. But his nervous system was shocked. His body would not obey his mind. Lisa stood over him. She was breathing hard. Her hands hurt. But she was standing. Gorak tried to move. He could not move well. The medical teams rushed into the arena. They had emergency equipment. They worked on Gorak. They were confused. His body had no broken bones. He had no bleeding wounds. But something was wrong with his nervous system. The doctor said he would be fine. He just needed time to recover. The arena went completely silent. Then the humans in the observation area started cheering. Then the other species started making sounds of amazement or confusion or anger. Senator Krell was standing. His purple skin seemed darker as he stared at Lisa. Commander Vex had turned a strange color. His crystal body was glowing with what Lisa understood was extreme anger. Lisa walked out of the arena. Her whole body was shaking. She had just defeated the undefeated champion. She had done it not with strength, but with knowledge. She had done it by understanding how her opponent worked. She had done it with precision and intelligence and study. As she walked, recruits from different species stopped and stared. Some looked at her with fear. Some looked at her with respect. She heard them talking in languages she did not understand. But she understood the tone. She had changed something. Something important. Officer Marcus was waiting for her outside the arena. "That was incredible," Marcus said. "That was the most incredible thing I have ever seen you do. You fought like a dancer, not like a warrior. You moved like you were playing music instead of fighting." Lisa did not know what to say. She had just done what felt right. She had just used what she had learned. "Come with me," Marcus said. "You need to see something." He took her to the observation chamber. On the screens, news networks from across the galaxy were broadcasting the match. The images showed Lisa defeating Gorak. They showed her precise movements. They showed her understanding of the human bodies. Capabilities. One network was showing interviews with military leaders. Human defeated the undefeated champion, one leader said in a language that had been translated to English. "Not through strength," another said. "Through intelligence." "Perhaps," a third said slowly, "we have been wrong about human military potential." Marcus turned to her. "The galaxy just changed its mind about your species," he said, "because you refused to give up." 1 week after defeating Gorak, Lisa was called before the full Galactic Council. Not just Senator Krell, not just the Academy leadership. The entire council from 7 different species sat in a chamber that was vast and cold and made Lisa feel very small. General Thorne was the head of the military branch of the Galactic Council. He was large, even for an alien. His skin was gray. His eyes were intelligent and careful. He studied Lisa like he was trying to understand something important. "Recruit Harper," General Thorne said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You have challenged many assumptions. The Academy believed humans could not compete in galactic military training. You proved they could. Commander Vex believed humans would always be inferior to specialized warrior species. You defeated an undefeated opponent who came from 1,000 years of warrior breeding." Lisa did not speak. She did not know what to say. "Your actions have forced the Council to reevaluate human potential," General Thorne continued. "For centuries, we believed that successful military warriors came from one of 2 sources. First, species that evolved to be warriors, like Gorak's people. Second, species that developed advanced technology and training systems. We never considered a third possibility. Species that could learn to be warriors by studying and understanding their opponents. Dr. Helion stood up from the council seating area. I have been studying Recruit Harper's performance, Dr. Helion said. Her approach to combat is unique among all recruit species. She does not rely on genetic gifts. She does not rely on technological enhancement. Instead, she uses her brain to analyze opponents and environments. She uses her capacity for observation and learning to solve problems that seem impossible to solve through strength alone. Is that valuable? Senator Krell asked. He was asking the question, but Lisa thought he already knew the answer. It is revolutionary, Dr. Helion said. Most species specialize. A Zordian is born strong. That is their gift. A Malkari is born armored. That is their gift. But humans are born adaptable. Humans can learn to think like any opponent. Humans can study problems from many different angles. Humans can use intelligence where others would need to use strength. Another council member stood. This one was a Vagran, a species made of energy contained in a force field. He spoke with sounds like electricity. This changes the military balance, the Vecran said. If humans can adapt to any situation, then humans become valuable in ways we never understood. General Thorne raised one hand. The chamber became silent. I am making a decision, General Thorne said. Lisa Harper, you are hereby granted a commission in the Galactic Council military. You will be the first human military officer. This is not a ceremonial position. You will have command responsibilities. Lisa felt her legs become weak. She wanted to sit down, but she stood straight instead. Furthermore, General Thorne continued, I am authorizing a research program to understand human military potential more completely. Dr. Helion, you will lead this program. You will study how to train humans for galactic military service. You will develop strategies that use human adaptability alongside the specialized abilities of other species. Dr. Helion bowed. Additionally, General Thorne said, looking directly at Lisa, you will be assigned a command of your own. A small unit of mixed species recruits who will serve as a proof of concept. You will show us how humans can work with aliens of different capabilities to create something greater than any individual species could achieve alone. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some voices supported the decision. Some voices argued against it. But the decision had been made. Lisa Harper, human from Earth, was now an officer in the Galactic Council military. Commander Vex stood up and walked out of the chamber. He did not speak. He did not acknowledge Lisa. He just left. Lisa would learn later that he had been reassigned to a minor post far from the academy. His career had ended because he had pushed Lisa into a match he thought would destroy her. 2 weeks later, Lisa was given command of her unit. There were 12 soldiers under her. A Zordian named Kren, a Melkari officer named Tok, a Vikran named Shezis, a human soldier named David, who had come from Earth to support the new human military program, and 8 other aliens from different species. They met in a training chamber. Lisa looked at them and understood something important. She was not the strongest. She was not the fastest. She was not the most naturally skilled. But she had been chosen to lead them because she understood something that the other species did not. She understood how to learn from every person in the group. She understood how to use each alien's strengths. She understood how to teach them to work together instead of competing for dominance. We are not here to be the best individual fighters, Lisa said. She was speaking slowly and carefully because not all of them understood English perfectly. We are here to be the best team. Each of you comes from a species that is exceptional at something. Kren, you are stronger than all of us. Tok, you are faster than all of us. Shezis, you can sense things we cannot sense. David, you are human like me. You understand human thinking. Our job is to combine all of these abilities. Not to compete for who is strongest. To work together to solve problems that no individual could solve alone. Kren made a Zordian gesture. It meant agreement or respect. The others nodded in different ways. They understood. Lisa began training her unit. She taught them to observe. She taught them to study problems before fighting. She taught them to use each person's strengths in ways that supported the others. She taught them what she had learned at the academy. That victory did not always come from power. That victory often came from understanding. 3 months later, her unit was sent on a real military mission. They were sent to a space station that had been damaged by an accident. The station was filled with debris. The gravity systems were failing. Normal rescue teams could not operate in those conditions. Lisa's unit could. The Zordian could move heavy pieces of debris. The Malkari could move quickly through unstable areas. The Vikran could see electromagnetic signatures and find trapped survivors. The humans could problem solve and organize the rescue. Together, they saved 200 survivors. When they returned to the main military base, Lisa was given another promotion, and another command, and new soldiers to train. She became known as the human officer who could train mixed species teams to work together. She became known as the commander who used intelligence instead of force. Other species began requesting to serve under her command. They wanted to learn what she knew about adapting to different situations and working with different kinds of warriors. 6 months after defeating Gorok, Lisa was standing in the observation gallery of the Galactic Military Command Center. The gallery overlooked the communications nexus. From here, she could see communications from across known space. Requests from military academies on different worlds. Requests for information about human training methods. Requests for officers who understood how to teach aliens to work together. Officer Marcus found her there. "You changed everything," Marcus said. "You know that, right?" Lisa looked at the stars beyond the observation window. Somewhere out there was Earth, the world that had made her tough, the world that had taught her to survive, the world that had given her the stubbornness to refuse to quit. "I did not change anything by myself," Lisa said. "I changed things because I refused to accept that I was weak. I changed things because I studied every opponent. I changed things because I believed that humans could be something more than the Galactic Council thought we were." "And now the entire military is changing its approach," Marcus said. "Now they understand that intelligence and adaptability matter. Now they understand that a human is not just a curiosity. A human is an asset." Lisa turned from the window. She looked at Marcus. "Humans have always been like this," Lisa said. "We have always been the species that learns. We have always been the species that adapts. The Galactic Council just never paid attention before. We had to prove it with our bodies and our determination before they would listen with their minds." A message came through on Lisa's communication device. It was from the academy. 3 new human recruits had just arrived. They wanted advice from the first human officer. They wanted to know how to survive, how to compete, how to prove that humans belonged in the military. Lisa replied to the message immediately. "Tell them the same thing I wish someone had told me when I arrived," Lisa said. "Tell them that being weak is not a failure. Being weak is an opportunity to learn. Every time you lose, you gain information about what does not work. Use that information. Study your opponents. Understand the rules of the game. And never, never give up. Because the only real failure is to accept that you cannot improve." 3 years after stepping onto that training deck as a joke, Lisa Harper was the most respected military officer in the entire Galactic Council. Not because she was strong, not because she was fast, not because she had any genetic gift, but because she had learned to think differently, and because she had taught the galaxy to value something it had never valued before. the capacity to learn, the capacity to adapt, the capacity to solve problems through understanding instead of through power. The stars outside the observation window seemed brighter that night, and somewhere on a